Hey guys, hey. Hey everybody. How's it going? Sorry, I'm 4 minutes late. I had no idea. I have, like I told y'all last week, I have moved into a new place and my cameras aren't where my cameras used to be. So I thought it was just a few minutes before 10 o'clock and I was changing my earrings and my shirt so that I wouldn't be wearing the same thing that I had worn on another one of these Facebook Lives. And anyway, not that that even matters, but so sorry I'm late. I I'm Dr. Cindy Stark. Welcome to my Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time talks that I'm giving as a way to give back to the community, trying to help everybody learn what it is. Hey Jenny, yay, you're here and I'm live. Sorry I'm late. I am here is my passion and my pleasure and my honor to come in here and bring everybody just a little tidbit summary. Hope y'all like these plants that I hung some plants here in my new house. I actually decorated this one myself. Uh, it brought me back to my macrame days from the 1970s when I was a little girl. Anyway, it is my honor and my passion and my pleasure to bring you guys little snippets of knowledge that have helped me so much. Hey, Michelle, learn how to harness the power in my brain and to have the kind of life that I want. Because here's the deal, guys. We are all here, all of us men and women, right now on planet Earth. And if you could even think about how unique and rare it is that our number one that we even were able to survive as fetuses. I never forget when I was at Emory and I was studying embryology. I could not believe how many things could go wrong in the developing and the development of a human fetus. And I'm like, it is an absolute miracle that any of us are here. But then that even Earth is here in this whole entire solar system with our unique temperature and stars and moons. It is just an absolute miracle that we're all here together. We're all here to go through life together and have an experience on this earth together. And I always say that I hope that my highs reach my lows, because who wants to live right here in the middle and just live a boring, predictable, ho hum life? So my I always think about it like that. That it even when you go through some really really hard times, you're always going to have some really good positive times to counteract that. And it is the lows that make you appreciate the normals and also the highs. But yes, happy fall. It's cold here, and it's like 50 degrees in the morning, and it's just downright beautiful. And anyway, I realized the reason I'm coming in here and I'm calling this talk today "People Pleasing Part 2" is that I had 10 pages of prepared notes for my talk on people pleasing last week, and I got so excited and talking that I really didn't get to a lot of the things that I wanted to say. So I just wanted to actually go over the things that I had prepared for you guys, because I really had something that I wanted to say about people pleasing. So some of it might be redundant, but if you're like most humans, you don't really retain every single thing from week to week anyway. So it's even though it might be a redundant, it'll just be a refresher. Oh, and I got my I hate this is a mirror image, but I just went and got my booster shot for the COVID vaccine. If you have a Pfizer, they're recommending you get a booster. Moderna, not so much, but I got Pfizer. So, and originally it was just recommended to go. Hey Kim, she's my hairdresser. That's how I have these beautiful hair. She always makes my hair look so much better than I can make it look. But anyway, so yeah, it's recommended after 6 to 8 months after you complete the Pfizer vaccine that you get a booster. So today we're going to be finishing up our talk on people pleasing. And like I said last week, where it originates from is that we're not that far removed from our tribal days. And back then in the tribal days, we had to rely on other people to give us our food, to protect our children, to, warn us about incoming, people that were coming to harm our village. And, that was just a couple hundred years ago. And that stuff is still very, very hardwired into our DNA. So we learned early on, and it gets passed down from generation to generation to generation, how to people please to stay alive. And what I have done now, what I have created is an online 12-week transformational health program. I have created a container and a space for people who have undergone some sort of childhood trauma to get rid of the effects of that trauma and live the life that they want, so that they know that they have choices in life. So much of what happens to us, we're living on autopilot, and we do not know what our choices are, because we're just, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. We're just living a repeat of the day before. And I'm sorry to say, but let's just call it for what it is. These things right here, notification, all this, these iPhones or any kind of smartphone, they will distract you so much. I mean, I literally see people going for beautiful walks in nature sometimes, and their faces are just like stuck in the phone. But they'll distract you so much that you're not even realizing that one day is a repeat of the day before, and then one week is a repeat of the week before, and then years can repeat each other, and then also even decades. So it's time to wake up and realize what it is that we're doing in life, and see if we're actually having the things in life that we want. Because if we aren't, there are things that we can do about it. So again, I want everyone who's coming in here to hit hashtag live, and people who come in on the replay do hashtag replay. And the new people, tell me where you're from. I love to know where you're from, and please pop any questions in below, and I'll come back and answer them. But my name is Dr. Cindy Stark. I am Dr. Stark by day, and I practice medicine here in Gainesville, Georgia. I take care of hospitalized patients, but by night I'm the real Dr. Cindy, and that's when we have a whole tribe of men and women that are ushering themselves in by learning how they can resource themselves and heal themselves and stop relying on other people to have the kind of lives and mindsets that they want. They realize that they are actually here to live a purpose in this life, and they can harness the power within their own brain to undo all the damage that's been done, that's making you live a life that you do not want, and making you repeat these patterns that you just hate about yourselves. And you can do it with effort and ease. And that's what I do in my transformational program. It's all self-led. We have group classes. We have a lot of one-on-one time with me and my other coaches, and we will absolutely transform your life from the inside out. And next week I'm going to start a series of interviewing some of my clients that I've had, so we can just see what kind of results can be expected by working with me. Anyway, so I want y'all to know that 96% of our brain is our subconscious, all right? And we don't even know why we do what we do, so we certainly don't know how to stop it, okay? And what, again, my whole entire program is about is by identifying exactly what it is that were the triggers that created your unique subconscious limitations that you don't even know are running the show. And when your subconscious mind is not in alignment with your conscious mind, you are literally in dis-ease, because it's a lack of ease. And you can have all sorts of autoimmune disorders and other medical problems that you don't even realize. The trauma is stored inside your DNA. The trauma is not just an energetic entity in our body. It literally gets into our physical being too. And it can show up in our parenting and our relationships and our jobs, and it can just make you not lead the life that you want. And my bottom line is that I want you guys to leave today knowing that you can accept yourself, and I want you to know what ways you are people pleasing, so that you can start living for yourself and not for others. So again, I know I touched on this last week, but why do we people please? It's so that we can be liked, and so that we can avoid rejection. And our main goal of our subconscious mind is to avoid pain and run toward pleasure. And the 4% of your brain that is your conscious mind, that's your willpower, that when you're efforting to death, that can only take you so far. And when you're tired and when you're overworked, without even knowing it, you're going to revert right back to the 96% powerhouse that's really running the show in the background. And any of us that went through trauma in our lives, it's at that moment that we went through trauma that we decided something about ourselves. And there's this whole drama cycle that we go through, where you either see yourself as the victim or the persecutor. And when you see yourself as a victim to everything, then you see everybody as attacking you, okay? And that's not really how it is. If you could see it for what it was and get rid of the drama cycle and get rid of the victim mentality, you're going to be able to like literally have a lens removed that's muddying up your ability to see reality for what it is. And it's what happens when you are seeing everybody as being a perpetrator to you, then you're giving your power away to other people. And what it is that our main goal in our life is to be able to love ourselves and to get safety for ourselves. And when you're giving your power away, just like what I was telling about when I got so upset last week, where the parents tell the kids it's safe to go hug that person or that person, we learn from a very, very young age to give our power away because we listen to our parents. And what it is what that leads you to is that other people are the ones that are keeping you safe. And what you need to listen to is your own dialogue and know that you're the one keeping yourself safe. And so, again, to have love and safety, you when you were a child, you had to rely on adults to do that. But now that we're adults, we get to do that ourselves. And again, it goes right back to our caveman and our tribal days where it took a whole pack to stay alive. And again, I don't know about you guys. Y'all can give me a comment here if y'all do this, but I personally, the way I live my life and the way I teach my kids to live their life is to rely on others. You know, I think in America, we are all so into being rocks and islands, and we're just like really self-sufficient, where whether it's from our money or from our groceries or from our clothes. And what I've realized as time went on is that it is really good to kind of get to know your neighbors. I don't think that's very commonplace now, but I get to know my neighbors. I go over to their houses, and you know, whether I'm the new person in the neighborhood or whether they're the new people, I'll take them food, invite them over for dinner. We'll even have Christmas dinners together, and we're always like borrowing a stick of butter. The kids will be yelling out to me in the front yard saying, "Hey, Cindy, come over here and visit me." But a lot of people just don't do that now. So I'm digressing, but I'm just telling y'all, it really, really helps to have a community. We thrive in community. That's really how God made us. And so you don't have to think that you have to do all this on your own. But what I do want you to do on your own is know that you and your internal compass system are enough to keep yourself alive and safe and loved. Okay? So again, when we are constantly apologizing for ourselves, we're just begging people to, oh, please love me, please accept me. And you don't need to be apologizing for your very existence. Okay? You are good enough just the way that you are. And people can accept you just the way that you are. But the bottom line is that you have to start by loving and accepting yourself, okay? And that's the main thing that the main point that I did not make last week. And if you are doing nothing but people pleasing, you're literally almost turning into a martyr. You're killing yourself to please other people. And you lose the ability to know good boundaries between what's good for you and what's good for others. And you know, being seen and heard for who we are is the one thing that we most desperately seek. And when all you're doing is people pleasing, you're just wearing a mask or a facade just to become what other people want. So again, we think what happens in our mind is that we take in information through our eyes. It bypasses our frontal lobe, and it goes through our conscious mind into our subconscious memories, okay, and stored as a memory. So that anytime we want to think back onto it, we just have this perfect carbon copy of reality go right from our eyes to our frontal lobe into our subconscious, stored as memory. That's what we think happens. But that's not what happens at all. What really happens is that whatever it is that comes in through our eyes, it bypasses our thinking brain and our critical factor. And then before it even goes into the subconscious mind at all to be stored as a memory, it goes through this big filtering system. And one of my clients calls it a RAS. You know, she says, my RAS is infected, Dr. Stark. But it's your reticular activating system, your RAS, and that is our filtering system, and it's uniquely made by our experiences in life through our belief systems, our emotions, our religion systems, our educational and parental programming, our social programming, and all of our emotions. And so that's what makes our unique reticular activating system. And so after that, our conscious mind still hasn't even been involved yet at all, okay? So stuff has just bypassed that conscious mind, gone through all those filtering systems in the subconscious mind. And then the reticular activating system deletes altogether, or distorts or generalizes what is actually happening to match our belief systems. For me, it was always I'm unworthy. And then it is sent to the frontal lobe for your memory. That's what actually happens. So, as you can tell by just me going through that very brief overview, whatever it is that's happened in your life is not reality at all. It's just filtered gunk from how you've been messed up in your life. We're all screwed up. Hello, ask me how I know. And then our memories are only there, sent back from the filter back to our conscious mind based on what our filtering system is. So, if you don't believe me, think about when you've been walking around your house trying to find your sunglasses and they're right on top of your head, or your keys and they're right in your hand. It's because your subconscious mind deleted that as being information that was important to know. And so your subconscious mind is doing this all the time in the background, and you don't even know it. And you wondering why you're having the same crappy relationships over and over again, and you're having the same exact problems and the same conversations with your significant others that you're having over and over again. Well, this is why. And if your belief system is there to show you that you don't deserve respect, guess what? Your subconscious mind is going to serve up on a silver platter every single way to show you that you don't deserve respect. And your conscious mind never sees all the ways that people were respecting you. And what this my program does, and we have a 100% success rate, it literally takes your subconscious mind's ability to delete things. It takes it away so that we are no longer deleting half the stuff that's going on in our lives. We actually see their opportunities for what they really are. And then we, every time we are lying to ourselves, we're weakening our own integrity. And we are just becoming masters of wearing masks and pretending that things are right. And another thing that I wanted to talk about today, and I know I've been very, very guilty of this, but we look to money and status for safety and security. But what does it really matter? And who really cares if you have all the money and all the status and all the awards in your life if you can't be happy and you can't live the life that you want? My husband and I, we're separated right now, and we came to Gainesville 16 years ago, and it was so that he could build his own bank. And I know that was very important to him, and I always try to be a supporting partner. But I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, that chasing that ability to, chasing that dream of owning your own bank, it kind of put his focus always on something else besides us. And what does it matter that he did that, or even that he has all that money now because the bank sold it, if you don't have your family? And I know that if you're not consciously able to even see your family as something important, worth sowing into and harvesting into, I mean, it's not your fault. It's not his fault. It is. This was our journey that we were meant to go through on this earth, and I was just tired of being invisible to one person that mattered the most to me. And so I couldn't keep living alone, being with someone and feeling alone. I'd rather be alone and be alone than living with someone and being that alone. But I just had again, people pleasing. I just wanted to raise our kids together. That's all I wanted to do. And so I stayed, and I have no regrets for that. But I started having this whole spiritual awakening, and this my subconscious began. I started my journey of clearing out my subconscious a good year ago, and the things that I could see now for what they were just no longer acceptable to me. I had been living Groundhog Day for 16 years, and I was just done with that. And the bottom line is that I want to fulfill my passion in my life, and my passion in life is to help men and women that have undergone trauma so that they can stop this. I just want to end these. It's almost like, it's not really a cage, but it's almost like shackles that are holding us back. We're tethering ourselves down, and we're meant to just rise. And and we don't even realize that we're only rising to, like, 6 feet when we should be able to go 6,000 miles. We don't even realize that we're doing that. But if we can identify that these tethers are on us and then know how to cut them, and we can soar, every one of us can live our full potential, whatever it is that your unique dreams are and your hopes are and your wishes for your life. That's why I created this program. But I want y'all to know how to work your brain. I want y'all to be able to have self trust. And, oh, thank you, Jessica. And I want you to know, to drop in the comments below, what price are you paying to people please? In what ways are you losing your authenticity? Sometimes you think that you're being heard, but if you're being inauthentic, you're not being listened to authentically. And again, I just want to tell you guys that this need to people please and to be accepted, it's in our DNA. And so many of us dumb ourselves down just to fit in. And no one can reject you if no one really knows you. So if you're too scared to be vulnerable and let people know who you really are, you're never going to be loved. And I was personally so scared to, it took about 60 seconds of courage and about 2 hours of just extreme vulnerability. But I just had to open my mouth and say, I just can't go on like this any further. And our kids, my daughter cried for about 2 solid hours, and she stopped crying. And I probably cried uncontrollably for 2 weeks, but now I'm okay. You just have to be able to speak your mind and say what's really going on, because what I realized is that I was lying to myself to please him, and to please, I think I was pleasing my kids so I could raise my kids. Yeah, it is change, Jessica. And when you realize that you are denying yourself and lying to yourself every blessed day, you can't keep going on like that. I literally was having this is another thing I really want to talk about today. uh, and my cousin Jenny, who's on the call right now, saw this happening and with her own two eyes in real life. But if you're not being, if you think you're doing a really good job at lying to yourself and not taking care of your needs, sometimes your very body can start. Uh, Thank you, Jessica. Your very body can give you clues that you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing to take care of yourself. And so my mom is also in a season of her life that's people pleasing, and I think that's why I actually just was in a loveless marriage for 16 years, because uh, kind of the way that I was raised, she just kind of did whatever my dad wanted to do. I mean, she and my dad were like madly in love with each other. I'm not saying that, but she just always did whatever he wanted, and so I think that's why I was able to live that way for so long, because that's how I was raised. That didn't even look abnormal to me at all. But anyway, she and I were down visiting my cousin and my aunt and my uncle last week, and she has been choking when she eats. Okay, and she has this autoimmune destruction of her lacrimation glands and her salivary glands. So she has extremely dry eyes and dry mouth. It's called Sjogren's syndrome. And then she 2 weeks ago she broke out in shingles. So that is her body's way of saying there is some unresolved trauma going on, and you are under such dire stress and anxiety that your hormones are all out of whack. Your immune system is now out of whack. That's why the shingles broke out. There's trauma stored all in this autoimmune destruction of her salivary glands and her lacrimation glands. She makes no saliva, and no tears. And then when the choking started happening, it's been happening for a long time, but it's just getting absolutely unbearable. And I got to admit to you guys, I mean, it's just the truth. But I just this morning, an hour and a half ago, had an appointment because I too choke, and it's way down deep in my esophagus, and it's due to acid reflux, which can be due to anxiety, and like so the effects of all of my trauma are finally getting out of my system, and they're getting better. But every now and then I will suffer this too, and so I'm gonna go get looked at and seen Make sure that I don't have what she has, because what she has is something called Schottky's ring, and it's literally, yeah, we're speaking, our body will speak volumes and we don't even realize it because we're in robot mode, just putting one foot in front of the other. Your body is screaming at you to give it some attention. So if you have any kind of unexplained symptoms and you think they're normal, they're not. They're probably not normal. And the root of the cause is something that happened. It could have happened generations ago, or it could have happened in your own self, and it's just wreaking havoc and changing the way that our DNA is expressed and our gene expression, and it can be causing physical symptoms. And so you can go down here and solve the physical symptoms all you want to, but if you don't go back and fix the actual inciting event and the damage, then you're just going to be treating these physical symptoms for the rest of your life. So anyway, you have to give yourself permission to do this work. I want you to know that if you don't, you're going to pass this on to your kids. And again, ask me how I know, because my mother passed it on to me, and I'm not passing this on to my kids, Jessica and Wyatt. I'm not. That's why I said this crap stops with me. And I don't care how expensive it is, and I don't care how much time it takes, but I'm worth it. And even if you don't think that you're worth it, your kids are worth it. Because if you don't fix it with you and you pass it on to your kids, you're going to rely on your kids to fix it, or you're going to have grandkids that are suffering too. Like, just have a reality check and have a conversation with yourself. You're worth it. And you're worth doing the work right. You have to find a group. You have to find a person who can be your practitioner. They can't be too close to you, or your gatekeeper that's in your subconscious mind will not let all the deep subconscious mind work. I'm actually going through the whole process again myself. I just decided late last night. I have a coach who's reached out to me, and I realized that the way that I did this subconscious rewiring was actually a solo act. I had to do it all on my own by the way that it was presented to me. And so someone has reached out to me late last night and is offering to help me do the real deep healing. Because like, I'm coming to you guys and I'm giving you the best that I have, but I know that I have better. So it's a 6-week process, and I'm going to redo it over again. I did it last October. I'm going to redo it now. Because again, I think my wake-up call was this choking, and then seeing it in my mother, and then my mother with the Sjogren's and the shingles and the choking. I'm like, oh goodness, I think I healed everything, but I can do it a little bit better. And so to be able to serve you guys better, I'm going to do it again, and to be able to serve myself, and then also so that I can help my kids and everybody else that comes to me in the future. I want to be a living example of what I preach, and I want to be able to continue to do the work. And once you do the work, you are going to have a healing that no one can take away from you, because it wasn't delivered by somebody else. It was something that you did for yourself. So if you are unable to act in the way that you want to act in your life, the power is in the action. If you're not able to do exactly in your life, exactly what's in your dreams, if you're not living that life, then reach out to us. I'm going to drop a link below to speak to someone on my team. You just go to therealdrcindy.com/apply. There's also on my website, there's a 30-minute little brief masterclass that shows exactly what I go through week by week in the 12 weeks in my program. And I just completely rewire you from the inside out, mind, body, and soul. Command your mindset, command your natural pharmacy, relive your soul and your spirit. It is mind, body, and soul. Because if anything is going on in your life that you can't fix and that is frustrating you, I just want you to know you have the power, and it's all within you. And I'm just looking at my notes really quick because I get so on these tangents. Yeah, so again, if you don't do this, you're going to be prolonging generational curses, and they're going to plague you and your family and your offspring for generations and decades to come. And there's just no time for that. We're in the best age of the world right now. And the mark that you make right now, you will show your kids and everybody around you what's available. That you're not just cookie cutter, you're not just relying on your old thinking. You're able to decide better for yourself. And again, I just don't want us perpetrating against ourselves in this people pleasing just so that we can be liked and accepted. I don't want you to feel like you're a victim. I don't want you to feel like you're being taken advantage of. I want you to Stop thinking that you're unable to say no. Stop thinking that you can't speak up for yourself. Jenny is saying, having just gone through a divorce herself and taking care of herself with Cindy's wonderful program, she has no more acid reflux, no more blisters on her tongue. Her body rashes are gone. Her anxiety is at a minimum. So many positive attributes still growing every day. And she has this amazing volunteer position where she's working in the land of change at the zoo with all these amazing birds. And birds are her, like, God's way of talking to her. So that wasn't a coincidence. So it's just amazing, the other version of yourself that lies on the other side of healing. And so it's 6 weeks for rewiring your subconscious mind, and then 6 weeks of integration. And we can get in that 6 weeks where we're integrating what happens with our subconscious. We can also get into your mindset, body, and soul with a lot of spirit work that I do, and energy work, sleep, gut health, immune system, activity, adventure, community. I mean, we just do it all. You can take little pieces of that, whatever you want, when you come into my program. Whatever pieces of it that resonate with you after we get the subconscious right, then you can decide for yourself what it is that's missing in your life and what would help you live the life that you most want to live. And so if you're ready, again, to start tackling your subconscious, book a call with us. And if you're not ready to do the work, that's fine. And I'm always telling you, it's not easy, but it's also not easy doing what you're doing right now, living a life full of regrets. And I just want you to know, again, you can have whatever you want. And if you don't want to do that work, then just keep coming back here every Tuesday at 10. And I'm going to support you. I will be here for as long as there's life in my body and a voice in my neck here. I will be here helping you guys. I know that everybody's on a different place of healing. Hey, Sherry, I'm glad you made it today. Everybody's in a different journey of their healing. And so I just want you to keep coming back, and I will see you next Tuesday at 10. Y'all have a great day, and I love you guys so much. Bye.